Well, I think what's unique about it is that we bring together several different sources of information. The core of the book is really 75 interviews that were done from folks from all walks of life. So somebody with a nickel in their pocket to somebody with over $500 million worth of assets. And those stories and experiences are part of the book. But the second part is a large longitudinal data set in which we follow people from 1968 onward, and we're able to predict various economic events that happen to them, various economic fortunes and misfortunes that happen along the way. And then we also have a number of focus groups. And so we bring this information together and kind of weave, I think, a pretty vibrant tapestry in terms of trying to portray what is the American dream and to what extent do people achieve the American dream. We found that people define it in basically three major components. One is the idea that the American dream is really about pursuing your passion and being able to follow what you really believe in terms of your passions and your desires. So that's one component. A second component is the idea that if you work hard, you should be able to have economic security in your life. So if you work hard, you should be able to support your family, be able to afford a house, have a decent retirement, and so on. It's that bargain between working hard and economic security that's the second part of the American dream. And then the third part is looking to the future with hope and optimism, and the idea that things will get better for the next generation than for the previous generation, and things will improve as we go along in our lives. And that's a third big component of what people say the American dream is about. Class and race are both really important in terms of who is more likely or less likely to achieve the American dream. So there's a chapter in our book that talks about the issue of cumulative advantage or disadvantage. So if you're born into a household that's low income, that doesn't have a lot of resources, the cumulative disadvantages will start to accumulate over time, and you're at a much worse position in terms of being able to achieve the American dream than if you're born into a middle class or an upper class family. An interesting element that I found throughout the interviews, that people in talking about their lives would mention these twists of fate that happened to them that really changed their lives. So a conversation that they had with somebody, a chance meeting, a missed telephone call, all of these things had some profound influences on how people's life course turned out. And so we have a chapter that talks about that. But probably just as important as those twists of fate is how people react to those twists of fate. So there's a couple examples of people who faced some real adversity as a result of things that happened in their lives, but how they responded to that adversity really was important in terms of how their life course then developed. I think we're at a time in this country where we're really wondering where we are in terms of our direction, where we are in terms of something like the American dream. And so I think the time is right for a discussion about this. And also I think getting the country on the right track so that, again, more and more people will be able to achieve the American dream. So I really wanted to do a book about the American dream and what people's lives are about in this country. So yeah, I guess you could say that this is my American dream, doing this book.